Hey everybody, we're back. Brand new episode for the podcast. We took a break, it was the holidays, Christmas, and we're back just in time for the end of the year. It's been a wild ride, but you know what? We made it through, man. So yeah, we're back, man, and let's just go ahead and start off the episode here. Not a whole lot to talk about, really. The biggest thing has been with Cyberpunk and the roller coaster that game is. None of us here have played it yet. I don't plan on playing it because for me it doesn't feel like my kind of game. But if I were to play it, I would just probably wait until, I don't know, next year or something.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting it, but with everything going on and just the backlog I already have as it is, it's like, you know what, it's okay. I think this is one of those games that I'll come back to at a certain point, I have no desire to really get into this right now.
I mean, it does seem like fun. I like open world games. Just see what all the hype is about. With most games that I always see what the hype is about, I just want to try it. But to be honest with you, I kind of don't want this game to get patched because I love the glitches and the bugs. That's like, I feel like as sad and this shouldn't be happening as it sounds. That's what's made the game already for me, from what I see. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just so hilarious to watch those glitches and those bugs and everything be played out.
Yeah, no, the bugs and stuff are fun. At least the ones that aren't stopping you from progressing the story. I know there's some of those going around. But yeah, if you go watch Donkey's video, his review, like it was funny, man. Like, there's some wacky stuff going on. I've seen other people's reviews, and aside from the bugs, they say they have a good time with it, and that the story is the best part of the game. And so, like, I'm glad at least that part is there, because the game is gonna get fixed eventually. It's still, like, everything else is still gonna be the same, like the story, the characters, and all that. So at least that part is still solid.
I know they intentionally made a serious game that probably has like a very deep story behind it with each of its characters and an overall message that it has. But god damn it, man, that's just funny.
There's something precious about games that are so buggy that people are playing.
Just remember when, like, Skyrim and hell, even Oblivion was doing that shit. Like, that shit's like, we still do shit like that, Aren't there like mods that intentionally like crank up the bugginess and glitchiness level on those games, like?
Oh, definitely.
So
what's that?
Fucking Jerry just pops in.
Yeah, Jerry's he's the ghost in the podcast right now. Yeah, CD Projekt Red, they've dropped the ball in various places when it came to this game. I think with a game as big as this, at least on the PC port for this game, it's understandable. Right, because they didn't. From what I've heard, is they didn't really have a solid team to work on it until they finished the final expansion for Witcher 3. But they did have people working on it before then. That's why the whole 8 years of development is in the air right now. It's like it almost took a decade for this game, and it's a mess. Listen to Castle Super Beast. Pat goes in depth about basically how the game works, and it's like they're using old tech to spawn in the NPCs and all that, and the list just goes on. If you go to Woolie's channel, he has the highlight for that. It's like a half-hour video, I think, of them breaking it down. It is what it is, but the marketing stuff, the whole thing with, like, oh, we didn't even bother with the last gen ports of the game, to me is crazy, because I don't think there's a PS5 and Xbox Series X version of the game. It's just PS4 and Xbone.
Yeah. And I think I think that's where they really messed up, because it's like, well, one, who would have known if this was going to even be the year for the next gens to be released, right? What if it was next year? Where would that place these games then? And if they weren't fully ready for these last gen consoles, I mean, not everybody's going to get this next gen console like day one. Obviously, we've been seeing what's been going on with the supply and demand. So them not making this game ready for last gen, that's something that we all saw coming, like, we can't be so shocked about it. It's like, dude, you messed up on your own. at that point.
I'm sure there'll be more news coming throughout the days, as it's almost daily updates for what this game is doing. So
Right.
I really don't have much else to say. Grant did pick it up, but he's waiting until we get the major updates, and they did say February and in January there'll be 2 big updates. So hopefully those help a lot. But I think it's going to take more than that to fully fix what's going on.
I think at that point, just play other Cyberpunk-like games. There's this game called Ruiner that I was playing.
I keep seeing that popping up on the eShop.
Bro,
yeah.
It's like if Perturbator made a fucking game. It's just the Perturbator is like a synthwave musician. Like dark synthwave. It's like that dark. I don't know how you could describe that kind of music, but a lot of dark colors in that game. Ruiner. It's a top-down shooter, and that game has like I stopped at a point where like you were at this hub, like a world hub, and you would go to like missions. So it was those kind of games, but I was having fun with that game for sure. But yeah, we have other solutions for your Cyberpunk fix.
Just the last thing, the craziest thing is that everyone is pretty much having a different experience with this game, which is wild.
Yes.
Like,
I think it's great.
Well, no, like not as far as like what's going on in the story, but like as far as bugs go.
Oh yeah.
Because I heard, listened to a podcast, and this guy's playing it on his base PS4, like the first model, and he only ran into very minor bugs that aren't major, like everyone else is saying. And then when we got the small patch, essentially all those bugs got fixed for him already. So he's fine with what he's playing with. But then there's other people where it's like it's just bricking consoles. You're T-posing in the car and all that. Everyone still has their gun equipped when they're working out. Like, so many wild things. It's pretty crazy.
And that's one thing I'm kind of gonna miss.
These
are gonna be war. These are gonna be war stories for the future to come. Oh shit! Fucking, but yeah, damn. I should just buy the game. Fuck it, just to say my experience.
Adam, tell us, man, what's going on? How broken is Sephiroth in Smash, dude?
Dude, okay, look, I wouldn't say he's broken.
Oh yes, please tell us.
I wouldn't say he's broken. I'd say he's really good. His momentum isn't the best. Like, he's pretty slow. But I think he's really more a whiff punisher than anything because of his reach. Now, his neutral B, his like Giga Flare and all that kind of stuff, that shit's broken, dude. That thing is crazy. Like, I saw a clip on Twitter where someone was like showing the hitbox stun of it. It's insane. You can edge guard like anybody who's just hanging on to the ledge. If they're about to jump, if they roll, you can catch all of that in just one with like the fully charged neutral B. I think he's got a lot of real good mix-up potential, but some of it's going to rely on reads. I feel like online he's not going to do that well. When we come back to offline, I think we're going to see a lot of really good stuff with him on people that are like character specialists. But at the end of the day, he's a lot of fun. The one-winged angel mechanic, I think it's pretty cool, but he dies so easily. Like, you could probably kill him at ledge with like a fully charged smash attack, probably when he's at like 50 or 60. Like, he's extremely light. Which is a really big downfall. But no, I think he's a great addition. He's a lot of fun to play. I really think he has a lot of potential to be like a higher tiered player, but I mean, right now you're just going to see them all over the place. But this is it. I mean, how I feel about Sephiroth is how I feel about Steve. Who else are you going to do now at this point? Like, the hype was real good for Steve. The hype was real good for Sephiroth, and the fact that he came out just like a week later. Actually, no, like about a week later, that was crazy. I did like the Sephiroth challenge, though. Unfortunately, they took it down, but that day that they showcased him, Sakurai was like, oh yeah, we're going to put this in the game mode in about like 20 minutes from when this is done. If you beat Sephiroth on very hard, you can unlock him that day, but that's only if you already purchased the download pack too, the DLC pack too. So like if you bought him individually, I don't think you would have got him, but if you got the whole pack, there you go. The one thing I will say too that was really neat about Sephiroth getting added to the game is that if you do classic mode with him, it's just boss fights because he's just the boss. I don't know if you guys have him yet, but he's a lot of fun for sure. But it's gonna take a while for me to get used to him. I definitely want to add him to my roster, but I'm still working on the monk. I was thinking about going to give it a second run through now that I have the PS5 to see the differences.
That's one thing I would be doing if I had PS5, though. I'll tell you that I'd be running through like some games that are playable.
Oh yeah, yeah. So like on my end, I've been I'm going through the DLC for Neo 2. It's the final one. It's called The First Samurai, and I'm playing on my PS5 because why not? And so the remastered's not out yet. That's out in February, and that's the one that promises 4K and 120 frames. Just for playing the PS4 version, you do get upscaled to 4K, and I do feel like the loading times are faster. The one way I'm gonna I'll check after this, because it takes forever when you go and rewatch the cutscenes from the story mode. It always took forever in Neo 1 and 2 for it to load so that we could watch them. So yeah, I'm gonna check right here, but I'm willing to bet it's a lot faster because the game does perform better on here without the remaster. I don't know if you ever noticed, Julian, when you're going through the first one. If you look into the distance, you'll see, that the enemies are loaded in already and they're moving around. But they're just like super laggy, right? Because they're just so far away and they're not the focus. And when I was running through First Samurai, I saw those enemies in the distance and, they were running pretty smooth. There was just every now and then maybe they would lag a bit, but overall it's like they were moving as if you're right next to them. So I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Already seeing that the SSD really is helping with running this game. And you're going to need it too because, if you're running online like me, Oscar, and Akil, we've been playing, co-op together and we're just doing so much on screen. Like I was telling Adam before we started recording, you can't see anything on the screen anymore. There's all these particles flying in the air and, all these anime moves, yokai nonsense. Yeah, I don't remember how that ran on PS4 since the last DLC, but no, I'm glad I'm playing that on PS5 because that should probably be laggy. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm still going through it. I have a few side missions left, but story-wise, it's fine. It's a nice little tie-off ending for what this prequel season was for Neo 2. And, I mean, there's, like, no real setup for a Neo 3, so I'm very curious to see what they're going to do. But, of course, the disappointing thing with the final DLC is that it's very short. Story-wise, there's only 2 main missions, and you're done. And I guess it's fair because there's really nothing else to do in the specific part you're at in the story right there. Because it takes you back to the 700s. The characters we're dealing with, there's really only one other fight we probably could have done, but, they just didn't throw it in there just because. But I think the story was fine, and I'm curious to see what the rest of these side missions are. I only have a few left, and I think one's a boss rush mode, so that's going to be fun. And if you're listening, I should have streamed that already over on Twitch. Definitely, I got a new armor set, though, that I'm using from the DLC. That's really good. So that's the good part for it. But no new weapons, so that kind of sucked. But it made sense, because I'm like, the 700s, I mean, what else did you use besides what we already have? They could have done more for the DLC. I was talking to Oscar about how in the second DLC, you fight somebody who's also half yokai and can transform like you do, and they have their own cool design. And I was saying, like, man, they could have just added more forms. Because there's 3 types that you can transform to for your yokai form. And it's like, if they would have added more designs for it, that would have been really cool addition to the game.
No, we're too busy on a Venus vacation.
Yeah, they're still updating that game, right? Yeah.
Seriously, there's like a lot of, like, aside from the base Dead or Alive girls, I think there's as much I think there's like 10 more now.
Yeah, they could make their own game with just the new girls that aren't even in the fighting games, right?
Right. Like a fighting game with just the girls. Yeah, it's all Tecmo Koei, man. They do some nice things, man, and they do some weird things.
There's good waifus in Neo, that's great. It's super anime. I think Neo 2 is a good time. It's worth it. But for the DLC, I mean, it's like the weapons are the best part, obviously, because they really changed the game. Because you get there's a split staff, there's the fists, and I think that's it.
Is that what the new weapons were?
Yeah, and they're really
Fist?
fun.
What kind of fist?
Like you wear like these gauntlets, and then their variant is like they'll have claws.
Oh, I was saying it's like the Nemean Cestus from God of War 3, but that's not it.
No, but
remember that.
I remember those. They're really fun, and you can do damage. You can just keep swinging left and right, uppercuts. You're KOing these demons.
Nice. It's like a fighting game at that point.
Yeah, it really is, because there's like I was going back through looking at the skill tree, trying to just brushing up on like what can I do with these weapons again, and it's like there's like timings that you can do in between active skills for the fist to extend your combos even more, and then
Wow.
like you'll flash red, and that's when you'll know like you could do this and that, and it's crazy. Like they're probably the go-to weapon once you unlock them in the game, because you could just stun enemies. You could do so much damage with the heavy stances, and they're really fun to use. It's cool, super anime, and it's like I'm glad they went this route, because it doesn't feel like a Souls game anymore. It's just a high action type of game.
That's good. It's straight away from what the first one was compared to, and now it's its own thing, because it really is. It really has. I think it was its own thing from the get-go, even though it shared a lot of similarities. But it really now it's its own thing. That's good.
Yeah, I thought so too. Like when I played the alpha for Neo 1, I instantly fell in love with the game. And I said it a long time ago when I streamed the first one. I was like, it adds the stances, right, high, mid, and low. And there's key pulse. And so like you're adding all this stuff in here. And I've seen people like Max, they streamed it for the first time, and they're just like, wait, what? Like they were confusing, but it's when they explain it and you actually test it out in the first mission, it's very easy to understand. Like, but there's a lot of stuff to know, but it's not in your face all the time. Like it doesn't feel like it's too much information. And I think that's great. And
that's always good.
And I'm glad they're going the route with the combat, because I don't know about you guys, but I was never a fan of just doing a few hits, backing up, like the Souls tactic kind of fight. I like to get in there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I got
you. And that's probably the God of War Devil May Cry in me, But now, with the way you could utilize the weapons and the key pulsing and stuff, like you could just get in there, especially with the status effects. Like you're going in deep, and I really like that about the game.
Yeah, it's more of on the offensive side over where, as in, even like Bloodborne. And no, Bloodborne's more like offensive, more like Dark Souls. You gotta balance out your strategies, because you just can't go hit hard, because then you can get attacked and stuff. I think it depends on the stats, but yeah, I love Neo's combat too as well.
As long as you have enough stamina for like one roll away, you can go beat them up, dude. That's my philosophy with the Soulsborne game. If you just leave enough for one roll, you can get it. As long as you can get out of there, you're fine. Get your like 5-6 hits in, roll away, get your stamina back, go back in there.
Yeah.
The key pulse thing helps out a lot, though. That's one thing I really like, because like if you hit the button right at the right time, you could get all your key back, and it's super helpful. And you could just keep going at it.
Yeah, that's really the biggest game changer. Especially eventually you'll be able to get the upgrade to where you could just dash, right? You just tap X to dash, and then that key pulses for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really good. That too. With the new additions of the yokai attacks, that adds just more into the game, and really helps extend combos because the best thing about it is it has its own bar, right? So these yokai attacks don't take up your stamina, and when you're out of stamina, you can activate them. So what you can do is you could run in, use up all your stamina even after key pulsing, and then you could just launch your yokai attack, and while that's doing damage, your key's just going to regenerate after, it starts. So you could keep going for a long time as long as you have enough of both bars. So overall, Neo 2, great time. Season Pass, if you're not getting the remaster, you could just wait for that to go on sale, I think. Because
I think we'll go on sale sooner than you think.
Yeah, because so far, like, every Season Pass was, like, pretty short, and, the last one's the shortest out of them all, so that's just the disappointing part. But, I mean, the stories are good stuff there. I'm having fun in photo mode, as always. I think I'm done streaming it for now until February when the remaster for 1 and 2 are out on PS5. I do want to go back and see what's going on and just to see how big of an improvement it is. And then I think I'll check out the English dub for Neo 2 just to see what's going on there. But anywho, man, let's press on here. We got the final 2 reveals for Season 3 of Fighters. And we're getting...
Dude, I swear you called it, man.
Dude, Baby Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I'm just happy because it's GT representation. You know? I mean, look, say what you will about GT. The designs are great, and those characters are great.
Yeah, GT did some good things. I think those characters are great. I figured it would be Baby Vegeta. I wouldn't know anyone else who I would want, really. I'd probably just Hercule. I mean, I already got Master Roshi, and that's who I really wanted. Even though I don't play the game, because it's too fucking hard to play. But it is fun to watch. But yeah, those characters are cool. The big monk Baby Vegeta looks cool, too. It's funny how, like, a super of one of the characters is now a character.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I know people are mad about Gogeta, because not only is it another fusion, but we already have that fusion in the game. And it's like, that just took up a slot of, it could have been like literally anybody else. There's like a lot of characters people want. Again, Castle Super Beast, I think I've mentioned it before too. Why aren't these costumes? Super Saiyan Goku, you have Blue Goku. And there's like very minor differences between their playability, right? Like they are literally like how Echo Fighters are, like Samus, Dark Samus type of situation, right?
Right.
And I liked how Wooly mentioned it, which makes sense too. Is like, well, you could just make them a costume, and then that costume has the move sets, so that way you have more slots on your roster for other characters people want.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that makes sense because, one thing that bothered me was Gogeta Blue, when he came out, he has a dramatic finish with Janemba, right? And it's like, oh, obviously it's the ending of the Fusion Reborn movie, but he's blue, and then when you watch the cutscene for the dramatic finish, he's blue, and then he powers down to Super Saiyan. I'm like, why can't you just leave him as a Super Saiyan in the cutscene, or just have him play as Super Saiyan? I don't see what the problem is. Sure, they didn't want to do transformations, which is what the main thing always was in the Dragon Ball games to get to those forms. Mm-hmm. But again, just skins. How is it that Videl is the only character that has 2 outfits? It's crazy.
Right, exactly. I mean, you would think with everybody on there. I mean, and you and I have talked about this before, Danny, like offline. It's like, where are the outfits? Where are the skins? Like, the colors, that's fine. That's a total Axis thing to do, but I mean, where are the skins, dude? We're in the day and age where the skins are like hot money.
Yeah, and it's Dragon Ball. There's so many costumes in those games.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's missed opportunity. Even if it was a DLC pack, I would get it.
Yeah,
no problem.
I think it would do really well as a DLC pack. But honestly, I don't know. I think this could be the last season we see for Dragon Ball.
I say it is. It feels like the end.
Yeah, so I think maybe we might see something for like a second one, but I think this game is like with the season pass finishing up, I think we'll see this alive probably for another 2 years before we ever hear of anything else.
Yeah, I think it's like what I said when season 3 got announced. Is like the game is still pretty big, but for me, I feel like it's just slowly dying out. Because it is fun to watch, like what you said, Julian. But there's just a certain point when I don't know. I guess because top 8 always has the same people, and just watching their same combos over and over again, and like the fact that it's a Marvel type fighting game, that kind of just drops it down for me just a bit, to where I'm like, yeah, I'd just rather not really watch it all the time. And I don't know how it is everywhere else, but I don't know. Overall, I feel like it is dying down.
Yeah, they got to move on to Strive now.
Yeah, they got to focus on Strive. They, Grand Blue got that DLC character announced not that long ago.
Yeah. Oh, and then Arxis announced a new game called Dungeons, and I forgot, it's DNFD, something like that.
Oh,
they
yeah,
announced a new game
that
recently. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if we even get a season 4, was it gonna be like 4 characters maybe?
I could, but I feel like if they do another pack, that you're just stretching it out. Don't do. I mean, don't turn into Street Fighter.
I know, like they dropped Championship Edition. It's like, actually, we have another pass coming, guys.
Yeah, like it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
It's like I love to see it, but my wallet doesn't.
Yeah. And I mean, look, yeah, there's still characters I would want to see. I think Pycon would have been a great choice. A lot of people want him as an underrated pick. As far as GT goes, we still can get Omega Shenron.
No.
I mean, Super 17, if people even want him. I think he'd be pretty cool as another android, and maybe he'll have some flashy stuff that he can do. And then obviously, Super Saiyan 4, Goku, and Vegeta would be a pick. Maybe they would put Pan if they could.
Well, but they got Videl. I don't see why they wouldn't put Pan in there.
I mean, only because like she's, she is a child, and I would think maybe she would play like Videl to have Giru as sort of like an assist, how like Gohan is to Videl. I think that'd be fun, and it would fit with her character too. And Nova Shenron is the only other character I could think of that would come in, because I think he was one of the fan favorites out of all the Black Star Dragons. Yeah, I think that would be it for GT. Super, of course, there's still so many characters to pick from. I mean, I don't know who else would come in besides Hercule from Dragon Ball Z, specifically.
Hercule.
But if we get into the movies, obviously BoJack would be a pick.
Dude, please.
And
BoJack Horseman?
No.
I'm just messing, guys. I'm just messing.
Super Android 13 would probably be that version for the character. And then you would have... I would love to see Tapion show up. He would be pretty cool. Have like a sword character in this game, just to change it up. I mean, if you want to make people mad, you could throw in Turles, right, for another quote-unquote Goku.
Oh, dude. I haven't heard that name in so long.
Turles?
Yeah, Turles. He's it's the Tree of Might movie. I think it's the second or third one, and he's just a darker skinned Goku. That's literally what he is. No relation at all. He just looks exactly like him. Oh, and I guess, yeah, Majin Vegeta I think would be a great pick too. Like, if we're going with clones.
No, what about Dabura? I'm like, why don't we put Dabura in?
Oh, yeah, Dabura would be cool.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And you know what?
Totally forgot about him.
I could see him with Bobbity, like, coming in as well.
You know what I mean? Like, one of his supers, like, bring in Bobbity or something.
Yeah, that would be fun. I know Super Boo. I would like to see Super Boo.
Goku. Fucking shit. Just call it Goku the game. Fucking hell. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Oops, all Goku.
Oh, I did forget one character in GT, and that would be Oob.
Oh,
yeah. Get my love for Oob. You have any idea how good that would be?
I mean, especially after the last Dragon Ball Super chapter. Well, not the last one, but the one before that came out, and it's just like, oh, look, here's Oob doing some shit that's just Toriyama stuff, basically. But yeah, I think Oob should have been in here a long time ago. Honestly, he probably should have been here instead of Gogeta, because I think Oob played a role fighting Super Baby during that arc. I think it's either that or Omega Shenron. Like, it's one of those two arcs where Oob comes in and like starts handling until, you know, Goku gets there. That just means they have more to pick from, so that way when Fighters 2 comes out in like the next maybe 3 years. My only problem is the only thing that's going to suck with Fighters 2 is I'm pretty sure everyone's not coming back, right? Like, it's not going to be this roster, and then we're going to add more. You know, because that's how a fighting game usually is, right?
It's Axis who made it, and they're pretty good about keeping like 80% of the roster when they move on. Like it's usually about 80-90% of the roster, and then they're like, okay, we're gonna add some more people in here, or we're gonna bring someone back, but they're probably gonna be DLC this time. The only game series, I think that they're consistently everybody in there, and everyone who was DLC is now just part of the base roster is Blaze Blue.
But yeah, if they can reduce the roster, like they could easily cut that roster by a third with just costumes alone. If they should do that, and when they do, that'll be fine. Yeah. So Super Baby Vegeta, whatever you want to call him, he's dropping January 15th, and then Gogeta's coming soon. Mortal Kombat, we got the release date for the movie, and that is April 16th. And it might be in theaters, but you don't have to go to theaters because it will be on HBO Max on that day as well. But hey, speaking of Wonder Woman, Adam, Julian, you guys both saw it on HBO Max.
Yeah, we did, and you know, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really say earlier, but I thought it was okay. But that's not until I watched it the other night, and then the next day, I just see like everyone just hating on it. That like, wow, this is horrible. And I watched Angry Joe. It makes sense. I feel like I have to give it another watch now to really catch like what's dumb and what isn't. But it sounds like it's dumb. Yeah, I mean, as a casual person, I was kind of blindly going in there. But I did watch the first Wonder Woman. Yeah, I thought it was good. This one was all right. You know, watching two DC movies back to back, Birds of Prey was all right. Nothing spectacular. I didn't. I thought you know, it's not really spoilers because we kind of all expected it was gonna happen, but no, the way Cheetah looks, I think she looks kind of stupid.
Oh my gosh, man. I think I saw this post on Twitter, which is like, I'm gonna tell my kids this was Cats 2019.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm like, she kind of looks dumb, and the way she, you know, also, this is not spoilers because, you know, nothing really happens, but no one really dies in this movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't consider it spoilers either because it just doesn't happen, you know? Yeah, right? Am I right on that? Nobody really dies in this movie, huh?
Nobody dies, and I don't want to say it to give it away to you, Danny, but it's like I don't want to spoil it, but it's like, yeah, nobody dies except for this one thing. And I guess you could say that's the only way, but not really. I don't know. It's weird. I watched them back to back, like I said offline, and I thoroughly enjoyed the first one more than this one.
Yeah.
Like there's just a lot. Like I said earlier, the acting from some of the players were really, really great. Like spot on. Like really, really loved what they did. But the execution in so many scenes, I was like, why? Why did you think it was okay to make this decision? Like it's terrible. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, certain scenes were done really well. They were like some of the scenes that were fun. I was like, okay, that's cute, haha, funny, you know. But then there were other scenes that felt like it just dragged on to try and be funnier, try and be something that I don't know if I just couldn't tell because I live under a rock. You know, like 90% of the year. So when I get out and look at something that's new, I'm like, what is this? You know? But the other thing too was what I said earlier. It's 2.5 hours long. They could have easily made this a 2-hour movie Like
Yeah.
easily. The more I
Like,
thought about it afterwards, I was like, there's 30 minutes here that doesn't have to be here.
yeah, I definitely gotta agree with that. There's some scenes I'm seeing that I'm remembering now. I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't need to be here. Or it's just a bunch of like extra shit that like why?
I felt
But
like I was watching
apparently,
it like an extended edition,
oh, maybe
you
the
know,
Snyder
and
cut.
not like, and yeah, dude, probably because certain scenes where I get why they put it in there for the premise of why things are happening the way that they are. Like I get it, and this all has to do with the change that they made. You know, so like Cheetah doesn't turn into Cheetah the normally conventional way.
Oh my
Same thing
god.
with Lord. Like his thing's totally different. So I'm like it makes sense, but it just dragged on way too long for my taste.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That it's 2.5 hours. I wasn't expecting that runtime. Especially because Warner Brothers has been keen on keeping the DC films around 2 hours max ever since BVS. So that's crazy to me.
Yeah, and you know what? It made me feel afterwards like this is why I don't watch DC movies.
We'll definitely watch the animated ones for sure. Just don't give up on
Oh,
them right on.
oh no, 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 no. The animated ones I know were super good, but like some of the live action ones I've definitely passed on because I feel a bad taste in my mouth. Unless you guys are like, hey, you know what, check this one out, then I'm like, okay, like, but like for Justice League, I've seen clips.
Well, yeah, you saw the trailers for Justice League that's going to be on HBO Max. That's what you're talking about, right? Not the
Yeah,
movie. We don't
yeah,
talk about the
exactly.
movie.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, no,
Yeah.
no. I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting for the patch to come out for it. That's what I'm doing.
Heck yeah, dude. Big old patch update, man. Rebranding and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just
I haven't
trying to
seen Wonder
see.
Woman yet. I'm going to see it. I'll see it soon and going to talk about it with Jake over on Marvel Talk. Coming back after this short hiatus we went through. But we will be back. That's for sure.
Yeah, give it a watch. I will tell you this much: it's not my favorite DC movie. I'll tell you right now because I'm not like wow, woo, ah. So far, my favorite DC movie would have been, I would say, Man of Steel and Aquaman are the better DC movies that I've watched. I would love to have a Ben Affleck Batman movie, but I don't know if we're gonna get that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting. I've talked about it on Marvel Talk, but with the Snyder Cut actually happening, I think the interesting thing is what is Warner Brothers gonna do from this point on? Because I mean, since Wonder Woman's set in the '80s, it doesn't connect to Justice League, and
Yeah.
the only few movies was just Birds of Prey and Shazam, but they don't really touch on Justice League. So the question is, which version is going to be canon now? And if we get even more praise of Batflick in this version, right? Because he's not going to have the Whedon comedy, and the memes won't be there. Will they consider bringing him back to do more Batman stuff? I hope so because I think Ben Affleck's great as Batman. It's really great casting, and I want to see more of him doing stuff in the DC universe alongside, of course, with Henry Cavill as Superman. I think their dynamics are good.
Yeah.
For the live action, yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man, to see. I'm sure it'll be more than positive feedback for the Snyder Cut. And
I'll be tuning in
yeah.
for sure. I'll tell you that much, guys.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah. I think the latest
me too.
reports was March or April we're going to be seeing it come out.
Yeah, next, I think I might watch Shazam. I haven't watched Shazam yet, so I'm going to definitely watch that soon.
I think you'll really like that one.
Yeah, Shazam is great.
Yeah,
It's definitely up there as one
really
of
good time.
one of the better DC movies for sure.
DC movies, sweet. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
no,
may just watch the Harley Quinn show that was on the DC the DC app or
Yeah, the DC
streaming
Universe app.
There you
Yeah,
go.
it had
that.
what, like 3 seasons or something crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll give that a watch.
I've only seen specific clips from that show, and I wasn't feeling it. So you let me know if it's worth thinking about, Julian.
Yeah, I will. I'm always watching a lot of random shit. Like last night, I watched on HBO Max. I watched Leprechaun Back to the Hood.
Heck yeah,
I will
dude.
tell you right now, gamers, horror fans, everyone needs to watch that movie. It's fucking stupid. Please, I watched that movie a while ago, like a long time ago, on TV, right? And I only never really completely watched it. I only watched bits and pieces, right? But now that I've watched it to its fullest, I could say that Leprechaun is great, dude. I'm so glad. I'm so glad I'm a horror fan and to love Leprechaun and I think that's the thing about horror movies. It's a niche thing. So if it's gonna be cheesy, I'm just gonna take it. If it's that nasty cheese, I'm gonna eat it up. You know what I'm saying?
Heck yeah,
Those are the best ones.
And you know who's in it? Ice-T is in it. So you have to watch it, people.
All right. I know what I'm doing.
You have to watch it. And they have all the Leprechaun movies on HBO. I'm like, what? They have 1 through 4, where the 4th one, he goes to space, and I think it's in the future. No, it keeps going. And then they got Back to the Hood, which is the sequel of In the Hood. And then they got the 2 remakes, or the 1 remake of Origins, where there's that one wrestler dude. But I heard that one was stupid too. And it's just cheap.
Isn't Jennifer Aniston in one of these movies?
Yeah, the first one, the very first one.
Yeah,
That's her debut movie.
Oh man, that's great.
Yes, sir. Please watch it, gamers. Please.
Oh, I love dumb movies like this, of course.
Oh, dude, have I told you guys about the Gingerbread Man?
No.
Oh my god, I'm gonna drop a trailer right now. The same guys who made like Puppet Master. And you know what's fucking crazy, guys, man? Like you guys know what Puppet Master is? Have you guys heard about that?
I have heard about that one.
Puppet Master. Okay, so there's a studio that makes these movies, and they've made a bunch of B horror films, like a lot of them. And Gingerbread Man is one of them. They even made like have you guys heard of the? Oh my god! Have you heard of the Evil Bong? Have you heard about that?
Oh yeah, I've heard of the Evil
seen
Bong,
that one.
Yeah, the Evil Bong. Okay, so there's a series, and I have it in comic. They made a comic book of this too. So they made a Gingerbread Man versus the Evil Bong.
Oh my!
That's the thing. Yes, I'm not kidding you. And these are things to behold, gamers. Like I can't believe these things are a thing, and I'm glad I live in this timeline. Is what I'm saying. Oh yes, in a quiet bakery. That's how it starts. So you know this is gonna be good. So I'm gonna drop it in the chat. They're called Blue Moon or Full Moon Studios, I think is what it is. Here, I'm gonna drop it in the show notes chat. I'm sorry. I know it was supposed to be for show notes specifically, but yeah, just please watch this trailer and just tell me how you guys think.
Is that the Gingerbread Man in the thumbnail?
It's yep, that's him.
Fucking great.
Oh my god!
And if I remember, hold on, let me go on the wiki here, and let me just tell you who it's Steve. It's Debussy. I don't know. It's this one actor, the Gingerbread Man. This is gonna be one of those things where I always bring up, like how we always bring up Kingdom Hearts. I'll probably always bring up this studio because I think these guys do a really good job at making it fucking stupid. Let's see here. Yeah, like we got 3.4 out of 10 on IMDb, so this is gonna be great.
dude, that's when you know it's good.
Yeah, you know who Gary Busey, guys? Gary Busey is?
Yeah,
he's in this. Busey. He's the Gingerbread Man. So. Yeah. A Full Moon Entertainment. There you go. Full Moon Entertainment. They've been making cheese movies, cheese horror films for a long time.
Nice. But moving on to other streaming services, we mentioned it earlier, Netflix. They, I always say it, they're big in the adaptation business right now. Mainly on video games, but lest we forget, they're also touching the anime industry. Not only by having a lot of anime on there, but they've adapted Death Note into a movie out here. They're working on One Piece, Cowboy Bebop, and now they've added Yu Yu Hakusho to the list of live action series that they're going to be doing.
All right, dude, look, I'm just gonna say it right now. I think they can do it because there's not a lot of like super CG they have to do. From what I see of that like screen cap or like the poster, it looks like we're going up to the beast. So I think the old like we're probably gonna have like a couple really intense CG moments, but overall, nah, I think it should be fine. But that's a lot of ground to cover, so does it say what it's slated for? Like how many episodes?
No, not yet. If I had to guess, their average is between 8 to 13 episodes.
It's gonna be rough, man.
And I know One Piece is 10 episodes. And if I had to guess, One Piece is only going to go up to right before they hit the Grand Line for that season. So 10 episodes should be enough. For Yu Yu Hakusho, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like you said, there is a lot of ground to cover for the series, but I don't think they're going to get too crazy for this first season that they're going to do. The interesting thing with this is the studio working on it is Studio Robot Communications. This is a Japanese studio, which is a surprise because Death Note was made out here, and so is Cowboy Bebop. That's being made out here. But they're bringing in this studio, and they've done live action adaptations before. Assassination Classroom, the live action movie there. And then there was one other thing. This doesn't want to load. But the interesting thing is they said they're also going to be bringing in talent outside of Japan to work on this, which I think is going to be good because hopefully that means like a CG department is going to come in. Japan, they're focused on anime. They're not focused on the movie industry. And, when you say that, the CG is pretty rough over there. I remember seeing the Attack on Titan clips for those movies. The Terraform Mars live action, buddy.
What? There's a Terraform Mars? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's not pretty. Yeah.
It's not pretty? God damn it.
Okay, so the other movie they did was Parasite for the live action adaptation, which I think they did fairly well with it. And just a bunch of other Japanese movies here. This will be interesting. I wonder if that means the cast is going to be from Japan. If the studio is going to be...
I would imagine so.
Probably the smartest move they could do because filming is a nightmare out here in the States still. Right, like we saw the big rant that Tom Cruise did not that long ago, because it's a big deal if you have like every production out here is different, to where either you'll go home, they trust you that you won't do anything stupid and get COVID, or like you're living in this giant bubble with the rest of the crew, the entire film. So I don't know, and then plus the budget has to be increased. Right, you have to put in the factor for all the testing and anything else involving to making sure it's COVID free. And then if somebody does catch it, then you have to shut down production depending on who gets it, like they did with the Batman when Robert Pattinson got it. They shut down for 2 weeks. And as far as I know, Japan they're doing fine. Like everything's like back to normal out there. The States is lagging behind, and we need to catch up already.
All I'm ready for, man. It's just to hear Urameshi. Just to hear Cool Bar say Urameshi. That's all.
Hey, Urameshi. Like, they can't fuck it up, dude.
And whoever they choose for Toguro, like, I see this picture on Google right now. It looks pretty good, but, again, you got to make him look like... If this works out well, and we go to the Dark World tournament, then he's got to be a monster.
I was gonna say about Yu Yu Hakusho. Like, didn't they make something live action already with that?
Yeah, they did a stage play.
Oh, it was a stage play. Never like
a
movie, right?
But yeah, no. This the only other live action thing is the stage play. Yeah.
Okay.
And I gotta give props to Japan. They really like to do the stage plays, and I haven't watched any of it, but just the posters alone, I'm like, oh, they nail it perfectly. And like, you'll go look at the Naruto stage plays or the My Hero ones, and you're like, God damn, these costumes are really on point. and like the actors look like they're really going into the role. Yeah, nothing on the date yet for it. Just it's only an announcement so far. So if I don't know, if I had to guess, it would probably be like 2.5 years from now. Probably because we don't have a date yet for Cowboy Bebop, and that was announced a good while ago. And other than that, manga side, chapter 53 of Boruto came out, which means the next chapter is going to be the one where Kishimoto returns as the writer. You're not caught up, right, Adam?
No, I'm still really behind, but I think now is going to be a good time to catch up.
Now is because where chapter 53 ends, it's like it's about to start the climax of this arc that we're still in right now. It felt like we just ended, but turns out no, we still have more to go. And so now with Kishimoto picking it up at this moment is probably the best choice. Hopefully he handles it well. We'll see what's going on. And you know what's crazy? I just saw the trailer for the anime for the new season, and Kawaki is barely showing up in the show.
Yeah, I'm not surprised with that. That not at all, because I think I told you when I was really active into reading Boruto, I was kind of watching the anime and I was like, wow, this is so far. We're not even like close to where we are in the manga right now. And then I can't even remember. There was a certain point where like they showed the movie in the anime, but with the scene that was necessary with what the fuck his name was, Momotsuki, where like he has that scene with Boruto, and I was like, dude, now we're getting into manga realm. But I'm sure there's been like fillers here and there, or like all over the place between there, because I think they didn't get to that point. I want to say probably around like episode 50, where like the manga actually
that's
starts.
Crazy.
Yeah, so and all that was filler. I mean, don't get me wrong, some of it was fun that I watched, but like it gave me old school Naruto feeling, you know, which is nice, but it's like, dude, that's all filler. That's not real.
Yeah. I have to remember that this is a different situation than Super, right? Because with Super, it's the same thing. The manga's monthly, came out the same time as the anime, but the difference there is Toriyama, you know, he wrote basically the story, and he would give it to Toyotaro for the manga, give it to Toei for the anime. So that's why, you know, the anime ended, but the manga was still barely starting the Tournament of Power. But I think with Boruto, it's like, no, they're going off the manga, but the manga's monthly, and that started at the same time as the anime. So It's like, yeah, we just got to put in all this filler, which I heard some of it's good, you know, because it delves into all the characters that are here now and all that stuff. But yeah, it threw me off. I'm like, oh, like I thought Kawaki was already in the anime. This is crazy.
But I think I'm gonna catch up this week, now that Kishimoto's gonna be coming back to it for the next chapter.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man, because you know I still like what I forget the mangaka's name. It was his assistant that helped him for a long time, and he's he's drawing Boruto right now, and he'll continue to draw it. But I was kind of liking where the story goes. I don't know how much influence Kishimoto's had over the course, but yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. I'm hopeful for the most part out of anything. If we're talking about Shonen Jump, we have to talk about One Piece just real quick, because you could read manga for free now, right? Shonen Jump, they have their own app where you could read the first 3 chapters of a series and the latest 3 chapters of the series. And it's advertises, these chapters, you'll get them the same day as you do in Japan, more or less, right? Because usually out here in the States, it'd be a Friday when the chapters come out, and then we'll get them for free on Sunday on the app. And that's how I've been reading my Shonen Jump mangas. And it's great. You know, it's fine. It's, you know, you could pick high quality and it looks crisp. But they said the next chapter, which is 1000 for One Piece, will come out on the 3rd, but the physical copies of Jump was out this week, and that had chapter 1000. And of course, if you're a manga reader of a long time, you already know scanlators have that. And it is out. Chapter 1000's out. I checked it out just because I'm like, I would like to check this out before the end of the year. It's a nice chapter. for sure. It definitely sets up some great stuff that we're gonna see in 2021 with this arc. I can't wait. And I think it was probably the best way we could have got to the chapter 1000 mark. I think good stuff. You're not caught up on One Piece?
Nah, dude, I was waiting for that chapter to drop, man. Cause like I said, I think I'm only like 6 or 7 behind.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
No.
I will say, man, it's the perfect setup to what's about to come in chapter 1001.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
There's like the final panels, of course, is great, and then there's just this one shot where it's just like, oh, this is when shit's gonna start. Because One Piece, more or less, Oda's has kind of the same formula. We get to see what all the Straw Hat members are doing, all the allies that they got during the arc, like who are they fighting, and like this is what they're doing while Luffy and the other important characters go handle their shit and fight the big bad. And we just got to that section of the arc where it's like, okay, we established everybody. Now let's get to what we really want to see in this arc. Cool, man. So I think with that, we could go ahead and wrap up this episode. Adam, I know you're still streaming, but you got the name change recently, right?
Yep. Yeah. So I don't know why I had the 25th at 25th in front of it in the beginning, but I guess you can change your name on Twitch. So now it's just twitch.tv/BamAdam. That's BAM Adam. I finished Demon Souls a little while ago. I'm doing New Game Plus, but I'm going to run through Bugsnax this week and then decide what to do after that.
Bugsnax.
Yeah, it's. I mean, from what I played, it was a lot of fun. I'm ready to get back into it. I know it's not too long, so I'm excited to see what's going to mess me up in this game. There's already been some dialogue that I'm like, this should not be for children.
That's exactly what I've been hearing about that game. Yeah.
It's a trap. You're going to ruin a whole generation. No.
Nice. And over on Jerry's end, he's streaming Tuesdays and Saturdays at the moment. And right now he's yelling at Dark Souls 1.
He's getting close, man.
Yeah, he's having a Dark Souls time, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm having one soul swell of a time.
And for me, I'm sorry, and Jerry's Jerry Omega on Twitch. And then on my end, I just probably would have finished Neo 2 by now when you're listening to this. And that means I will be heading back to Normal Heroes 2. I haven't touched it in a while, and I'm itching to get back to that.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm juggling what days to stream. So, I'll keep you posted on Twitter on that. And that's Negator7, both on Twitter and we took a break last week, but everything's coming back. So manga review, webtoon, I think should be this week, and then Marvel Talk definitely will be back. It should be this week. It will be this week, is what I mean to say. While we wait for all that to happen, man, you can always send us an email, universepodcast@gmail.com. Let us know any questions, comments. Of course, we'll talk about it on the next episode. And you can follow us on social media at Universe Podcast. We'll let you know when those episodes drop. Thanks, guys. We will catch you on the next one, and you guys have a happy new year.
Down to make a change, down to take a different step. Down up here where I belong, not down with being upset. My head always in the clouds, and it's time my body follows. Can nobody do it for me? Is the motherfucking motto. I won't wallow in my misery, that isn't me tomorrow. If I'm riding at my core, rip it at my avocado, ayy. That's what I'm focused on. I'm sick of waking up to melancholy with its open palm. It's out of pocket, but my sighties, they like Pokemon. My clocks have broken arms, my blindfold always on. Dig it out, my delusions all clear out. Fallacies disappear now. Wasted another, yeah, now we're down.